Welcome to Annitude, a relationship podcast about love, friendships, and everything in between.
Hello, and welcome to Annitude with Anna Burr. I'm here with a very special guest. Her name is Kaitlin, and she has seen my titty. So, Kaitlin, say hello to the listeners.
Hello, listeners.
So, Kaitlin, actually, the reason why she saw my boob is because I got a tattoo from her. And the way I found her is she came up on my For You page on TikTok. I am not a Gen Zer, but I am an older millennial that loves to scroll through TikTok for hours on end. And Kaitlin happened to pop up, and she does amazing tattoos. So, Kaitlin, do you want to tell everybody about our experience of what was your first impression when I walked into the shop?
Okay, so first impression, I was really excited just because I knew we were going to do a before and after. I always get really nervous because you ended up getting a before and after piece of a cupcake that you had on your chest. So I always get really nervous initially just because that's usually freehand work, so you don't really know, what it's going to look like by the end of the tattoo. So it always freaks me out. So you're pretty much just going off of trying to connect with another person and visualize what they see in their head, which can be a little bit more difficult than people expect. So I was nervous, but I was quickly calmed. You have a really natural soothing personality, and
Thank you.
in the nicest way to other Karens. You were not a Karen.
No, I'm like the anti-Karen.
Yeah. So I was really excited that you were so relaxed and you were just ready to have a nice positive change, which is we were on the same page. So
yes.
First initial thing, nerves, always super nervous, but yeah, it quickly died down, and obviously we vibed, really nice.
Yeah, we had a full on touching conversation about our lives, and we had so many similarities, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with her after this. I hope she doesn't think I'm weird.
No.
And yeah, so we exchanged numbers weirdos do.
Mm-hmm.
And here she is at my house / studio recording a podcast.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yes. So Kaitlin, can you tell the listeners how you got started with tattooing? Are you a big art head?
Mm-hmm.
Have you always wanted to be a tattoo artist? How did it start?
Okay, so it started purposefully and accidentally. So being younger and whatnot, I was always in art classes. I was always really good at art, naturally. I was always the top of the class. I ended up finishing all the art classes actually that my high school had to offer. And me and my art teacher, Miss Davis, who I believe is still the art teacher at my school.
Shout out Miss Davis.
Shout out Miss Davis. We ended up working really hard together, or primarily her, because I was a student, that didn't know shit. But we helped create the availability for a what are those classes that the
AP classes?
AP classes,
Oh.
yeah. So now there's an AP class. So there's an AP class that was created when I was a senior, just with 4 students in it, and I was one of them. And now, from what I understand, there's multiple AP students or classes and a bunch of students.
So you're a trailblazer in the high school art community. That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a cool little flex that I'm sure it was bound to happen anyways, but I was really good at art, really big in art in high school, and really close to my teacher, Miss Davis. And one day for homework, she actually assigned this piece of paper. It had an outline of a cow, and it was pretty much some weird little challenge that was created by a dairy company called Lucerne Dairy Company. So
I'm familiar with Lucerne. They sell their products at Safeway.
Yeah.
For hella expensive.
Oh, are they super expensive now?
Well, they're just more expensive than the Safeway brand.
Oh, they think they're better.
Yeah, they think they're better. They're bougie.
I thought that was Safeway's
Wait,
brand.
it might be Safeway. Okay, I'm saying they're more expensive than the Kroger brand. Because Safeway is bougie.
Yeah, they have caught up on they have not caught up. They've been it
yes,
they're so good.
Yes,
but
shout out Kroger, sponsor me please. Yes, I just got groceries today, please.
Yeah, we love your food. All your rice tastes just as good as the other rice.
Yes.
But so we ended up getting this homework from Lucerne. So I'm pretty sure my teacher just didn't really know, no offense, Miss Davis, what to assign for that week. But we ended up getting this paper from Lucerne where it was a challenge. They had an outline of a cow, and you had to design some kind of imagery inside the cow that mixed with the subject of their choice and dairy somehow. So that year they chose music and dairy, and they called the subject music.
Oh,
So
that little pun right there. Love it.
yeah. So they ended up doing that, and I ended up just doing like some little design and some character playing piano that were made out of ice cream cakes, and that was it. I didn't realize that I actually placed, and then long story short, they end up sending like a life-size cow that you repaint the design on, and then if you do a good enough job, they'll award you money. So I got one of the top awards, and they gave me money as a reward. Totally unexpected. Didn't think that was going to get entered at all. So with that money, I ended up cashing it out. It was like $250, and I went to go get my first tattoo. So I ended up calling a tattoo shop that one of my then friends recommended that she got a tattoo from. And I called and just, asked if they had walk-ins. And then I'm usually very shy and I don't like put myself out there. But something like to this day, like I don't know what it was.
Something came over you.
Yeah, like something came over me and I just like got the confidence I never had to ask, like, hey, do you guys do internships or apprenticeships? And the woman that was on the phone was like, yes, absolutely. Come in, get your tattoo done, bring some of your, examples of drawings, and we'll check it out and we'll see, if you're pretty much good enough for an apprenticeship. Got the tattoo, ended up being told that, there's like a bunch of people looking for an apprenticeship and they've all interviewed for the spot, but I'm by far one of the best. So like if I can get X amount of money, which I believe was like $2,500 at the time, together and give it to them, that would be my payment for my apprenticeship. So I didn't have that money immediately. I'm 18 years old at this
like
point.
where were you gonna get that money? Like
yeah. So I pretty much got a lot of amounts of money from different people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of family members that donated money to the cause. Primarily my mom, my grandma, I believe my godmother, my uncle, and then friends that were like able to give me 20 here, 50 whatever I asked for.
So you hustled the money together.
Yeah.
And that's cool that your family was down for you to do that, because I know a lot of families are like, oh, tattoos are the devil and that's not a real job. So that's cool that your family was supportive. Somewhat.
I had half. Yeah, I had half and half. So like even though my grandma ended up having such a huge chunk towards the apprenticeship money, I remember when I was like 15, she was smoking a cigarette out back and she asked me, she was like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I think I want to be a tattoo artist, because I'd learned about Kat Von D and she was a female artist.
Yeah.
And, like that was the only girl artist. And I was like, okay, if at least one girl did it, I can do it
Yeah.
too. So like why the fuck not? You know?
Right.
So I ended up telling her like, yeah, I want to be a tattoo artist. And I'll never forget, she laughed her fucking ass off and she was like, oh honey, it's just a phase, which I find hilarious because now there's like funny TikToks where it's like, it wasn't a phase, mom.
Yeah, no, I think all of our parents thought anything that we were doing was a phase, but I think a lot of millennials and Gen Zers, and like we know what we want to do when we want to do it.
Yeah, and there's like this weird like others, like I feel like all of like millennials and Gen Z, like they're gonna have a lot more of like a stubborn spark than like our past
like the boomers, like because they had to either get married and go to work at a factory, or they were like already wealthy, so there was no like time to like have passion projects or do things that you actually were passionate about. So I think it's confusing for like older generations to be like, oh you're gonna do something you actually like.
It is crazy because I feel like they're a little bit more like programmed, their minds are programmed, which is fine. Like they definitely have routines, and from what I can see, most of the older generation is like a lot more put together with things that they have, houses and cars and setting up for retirement and whatnot, and like that's all fun and everything, but I'm trying to party now.
That's how I feel too. I'm just like, you know what, my mom had like 5 kids at my age. I can't even fathom. Like,
I know, my mom too.
I can't even take care of myself.
Like exactly. I know,
I'm a teacher, and sometimes I'm like, who put me in charge of, like, I can, obviously I'm very capable, but I'm like, I'm still a baby. Who's taking care of me?
That's what I feel, because like that's a big scary thing I've noticed with all my clients is obviously I talk to like so many people and I meet so many people and I get glimpses into their life, and I'm just like, how do you do all these things? Like I'm barely, just like
How do they afford it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
How do you afford children?
I don't know, because like living on your own right now is so expensive.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, could you imagine a child?
No, my child would be taken away by CPS because they would be starving, and also they would be eating like goldfish crackers only.
My daughter's lucky she's still alive. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but
that's how I feel. I'm like, I can barely take care of my cats, and their food is like $5 a month.
Cats take care of themselves too.
So exactly, they would eat my dead body if I passed away. So
yeah, like I can't keep plants alive. I'm surprised because I know it's supposed to go in order. Like you shouldn't get a dog before you can keep a plant alive for so long. I totally skipped that step and was like, cool, let's get a dog. Like I'm glad I didn't skip the dog step. And like, cool, let's have a baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too. I'm like, I'm glad I had pets first because I'm trying to see how they survive. If they can live 18 years, maybe I can keep a kid alive for 18 years.
Yeah.
That's TBD though. So yeah, it's just weird to think about. Like I look at like my friends who have kids and then they go home after a 9 to 5 or a teaching job. I'm like, how the hell do you have energy?
I know, because I still need space for my dog, who's a dog. Like I always tell her, I look at her, I'm like, I need space from you right now.
Yeah.
Mommy needs 2 hours. Like she knows what I'm supposed to talk about, and it's a dog. It's like imagine a child that genuinely needs me and be like,
yeah, like I'll just put money away for your therapy.
I know.
Oh my gosh. So your apprenticeship, how did that go? How did you? I mean, okay, so give me a rundown on what a tattoo apprenticeship like encompasses.
Okay. So usually, from my understanding, tattoo apprenticeship is pretty much a replacement. It is a different version of college. So it technically would replace your traditional like college school and whatnot. So you pay for it. Usually it's a couple $1,000. From like the minimums that I've seen, it's like $1,000. It can go all the way up to like 25 grand from what I've seen. I think that's a little crazy, but so you initially pay for an apprenticeship, and then in return you study underneath usually a lead artist and then the rest of the shop that has education to offer you. So you have a mentor initially, and then that person takes you under their wing, and you're supposed to pretty much be right next to them 24/7, watching what they're doing, listening to any like advice that they have, anything that they ask you to do. Everything that they ask you to do usually goes towards your learning, and it's some kind of education that you can take with your own tattoo journey and then reuse and pass down to other people. So what it would look like is standard apprenticeship is usually, a few years, just so you actually like have proper education before you start tattooing other people. Some people, prefer that you tattoo on top of like pig skin or fake skin. There's a bunch of different brands that are kind of similar to fake skin, I guess, called a pound of flesh. And then there's other artists that are more old school that are just like, nope, you're only going to learn if you're tattooing on people because these other skins aren't exactly the same thing.
Right.
So my apprenticeship approach was you're going to tattoo real people immediately.
Whoa.
Yeah. My apprenticeship, even though I technically did pay for one, it wasn't the standard one that everybody else had. It made me a little bit sad and disappointed. I definitely left a little bit upset at the shop that I originally started at, and was a little bit like traumatized by some of like the old school things that would like happen in there, because they were a little bit more old school, which means that they like haze people and like they're like mean and
undermined you as like a professional or learning professional.
Yeah, it makes it like pretty much made them or like they just I don't know how to explain what they did, but like they want you to earn your keep, and it's by how they earned their keep,
Yeah, that is definitely like a kind of like a older generation mentality. It was like, well, I went through it, so you have to go through it. And it's
exactly.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's
not
how a lot of people learn. That actually makes it worse.
Yeah, I actually had a really, really bad experience for my quote unquote apprenticeship, and I didn't learn directly by being like guided by a specific mentor that I had paid for, my education. So what ended up happening with me and how I learned is I actually have a really good friend named Johnny Saleri who's in the tattoo industry as well, and both of us worked at this shop at the same time. He started a month before me. We were both really young, and I think he's a couple years older than me, but we both had like he had a little bit more experience than I did, and I was just brand new. But typically, like if we were in high school together, I don't think we'd give each other the time of day, honestly. But because like we almost like bonded through like a weird traumatic experience, like
Oh, wow.
borderline. Like we just like found like friendship in a place that kind of like turned negative, unfortunately, over time for everybody. And he noticed that I was really trying, and he ended up giving me tips here and there. He would suggest different colors. He taught me how to work with colored pencils. That is really similar to tattooing. And then when I wanted to start ordering stuff and saved up money, and my mom gave me money for a Christmas gift for ink, he made a whole list of all the colors that I should order, which I still use to this day.
Wow.
Like the colors in your tattoo, including like it's the
Wow.
same color palette. So he taught me like as much as he could with color blending and application. I would stay. The rule was is you were supposed to be the first one in the shop as the apprentice and the last one out. So after everybody would leave, I would stay there and I would clean the shop some nights and whatnot. Or I would wait for everybody to leave and I would secretly practice tattooing on my friends when everybody was out of the shop.
Cool.
Yeah, but I didn't have any equipment, so I would borrow like a needle from one of my friend's stations and then some ink caps from someone else and then a couple pigments here and there, and I would just do my best based off of what I observed.
Yeah.
So I made like a really half-assed portfolio of the best work that I did with my secret practices.
Yeah.
And after about a year, I ended up leaving that first shop. It was really hard because I remember them sitting me and my friend Johnny down, and they were pretty much blaming the lack of the shop's success on the fact that Johnny wasn't tattooing me because I'm his walking billboard. But then anytime I was supposed to get tattooed by my buddy, we got in trouble and we were told that we were supposed to be out promoting. So no matter what, we were in trouble. And then
You
we
were
were
damned
told,
if you do, damned if you didn't.
yeah, we were told that if we were to leave the shop, that we would have a very hard time finding a job somewhere else because they know everybody in the industry. And so it kept us there a little bit longer.
What an abusive, like, first experience.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew that that's how it was coming off.
Right. No, of course not.
Yeah, 'cause
I don't think
know.
so because they probably thought that was just how you kept employees around.
And they were the old school tattoo shop vibe. Like you only know what you know. So
yeah,
I'm trying like not to like be butthurt over it now, but it was
I mean,
really
it's kind of
mean.
hard not to be because that was your chance to learn and actually have guidance from professionals. So
I looked up to him like a lot. So it was really hurtful. And then with tattoo shops, it's very hard to find where you fit in. You have to find like a family vibe. It isn't just like you go to any shop and fit in. So it was a little hard leaving. But after that, I ended up working at a different shop, and I thought that if I filled up my portfolio with like mainly drawings, that they'd see like my potential and be like, cool, she can tattoo. And I think someone just like took a chance on me and they believed in me. So my second official tattoo shop job, that was like my biggest, most blossoming like moment. I ended up making best friends with my then boss. We unfortunately don't talk anymore just because I was an asshole over time. But it was the best time I've ever had working at another tattoo shop, and I was really able to grow at that point.
Yeah. And actually like become the artist you are today.
Yeah. So that's kind of after I started working at that second shop, that's where I was able to start like understanding not every shop is mean, not everybody is going to be like a jerk, that you can find really genuine friendships and genuine people. So I was allowed to like grow there and whatnot, and then
not be traumatized on a daily basis.
Yeah. After that and working at a few other different shops and making some rounds at some other shops and whatnot, I ended up finally just getting my own shop. So then now fast forward through 12 hours of another story. Now we're here.
So now Kaitlin is the owner of Ink Snob Tattoo in Arizona. So if you can you shout out your TikTok name?
Oh yeah, it's
please.
So random. It's called Tattoo Shop Talk. Like I thought it was gonna be funny, like a play on words, like Tattoo Shop Talk, like a tattoo talk. I should have just done Tattoo Talk, but I wanted it to be like all things shop, even though like
I like it that you'd like talk about like different kind of processes and like what you should like do before a tattoo appointment. And I think it's good that you named it that, like Tattoo Shop Talk. So find her on TikTok because that's how I found her. Sorry, my cat's trying to get in on this podcast. So how did you blow up on TikTok?
Okay, so totally random and unexpected. So it took a lot of convincing for me to get a TikTok in the first place. A lot of my clients were telling me that I should get one and that I would do have like a really cool like profile and I could do so many cool things, but usually like I'm a little bit like shy with stuff like that, and I didn't know how to work it. It's such a weird app when you don't know how to use
Yeah,
it,
because there's a lot of buttons and a lot of filters and a lot of like transitions and stuff
Yeah,
and music.
yeah, so I was shy on trying it out, but I finally just decided to do it, and it ended up just being like something really cool. I always wanted to make videos, but I just didn't ever like know how to, and it just seems a little overwhelming when you're brand new to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I actually had the help of I actually had to learn how to use TikTok for my managers and me. So I had to sit her down and ask her like, hey, like you're a young person, like how the f do I like post this video or make one? And she helped like teach me the basics and whatnot. And pretty much from there, it's just having fun making my own little videos. And then I forgot what video it was that blew up, but I woke up and I jumped on TikTok and it said I got like 25.5 thousand followers
And you said,
overnight.
excuse me?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck just happened? So I ended up looking and I thought it was like a glitch. I thought it was 252 followers, but it wasn't. I was like, oh my God. So I got like really excited, of course, because the most followers I'd ever had was like 15,000 on Instagram, and that took like 8 years to build. So it was weird to get 25,000 followers overnight. So
Yeah.
I ended up posting a few more videos, and then it just quickly grew. It just blew up, and yeah, like now I'm just tattooing everybody from TikTok. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah, that's how I found it. I mean, still, I'm in shock because I was like, I followed you for a while because you came up on my For You page and I saw
mhm.
that you were doing cover ups and reworks.
Yeah,
And I followed you for a while before I realized, I was like, she's in Phoenix?
yeah,
And then I found out where the shop was. I was like, that's like 10 minutes away from my house. This is destiny. And
yeah.
then I have some shitty tattoos that I got when I was 19. And the first one that I was like, I gotta fix this fucking cupcake that's on my titty. It's been bothering me since the inception of it on my boob because I'm like, it looks like somebody, like Stevie Wonder, but if Stevie Wonder had no hands, did it.
It didn't look
It
that
looks like
bad.
it looks like prison. It looks like they did it. They melted some wax and then got a pen and then put it on my chest.
Oh
It
no.
was so bad, but now it's beautiful. But so yeah, so most of your clients now are from TikTok.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they like
Wow.
drive out and fly out from other places
Where's the
now.
farthest somebody's like driven or flown out?
Ooh, I would have to say I've had some people from New York, so that's pretty much the other side.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my most recent one is from a young lady from Michigan, and I believe she's actually going to be back in the shop this week too. And then there's been people that come in from like Washington. I've had someone that technically came from Germany, but they were also there at home, like they were like visiting, so it was kind of like a double trip. Like
Yeah.
they ended up getting tattooed by me. They were from here, lived in Germany, but then chose to get tattooed by me. So I thought that was really
That's
cool.
awesome. Like, does that make you feel like, wow, like I'm so good that people are choosing me out of everybody in the country? Like, think
Kinda.
about that. Like,
I
that's
should
big.
think of it like that
That's
more.
huge.
Yeah, I always like for me, I guess like you've heard of like people are their own worst critics usually, and
Yes.
artists are so like rough on
Yeah.
themselves,
No,
and
my sister's an artist and
yeah,
she won't even show me her like stuff that she
yeah, and I'm sure it's
draws.
stunning. Like
It's
it's stunning.
she's been a great artist and she was like a baby
Yeah,
and she won't do like I've asked her for like, can you draw me this or can you
yeah.
make my tattoo? Like, and she won't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. Like it's like so sensitive and it's so like sacred almost like when you
Yeah.
make something, and so I don't know. I was just
And your
always
eyes always deceive you as like an artist. You're like, that actually isn't nice.
yeah,
I
and it
hate
takes
it.
me a while to like look at something and be like, oh, that was actually pretty good. But it usually takes like a year, and that's if I find the photo. And then I'm like, why didn't I post that? I have like a whole album on like an old save phone of stuff that like I wanted to post, but I was picking it apart, and I'm too much in my head. So,
Yeah.
but I always, because of that, I don't ever think of myself as the best. I always think that there's room for improvement. So when I find,
Which is
yeah,
good because then that when you don't think you need improvement, that's where you become like stagnant, complacent, and then your
yeah,
stuff starts to be shitty because you don't care anymore.
right,
So it's
yeah.
good that you think that way, but you also need to realize like people are seeking you out not knowing
Yeah.
you from anybody out of all the artists in
That's
the
so crazy.
world
That's crazy
to
to
come
me.
see
I know,
you.
that's why I think it's crazy because like I don't know, I just think of like myself as like because I didn't have like that foundation of a solid apprenticeship of like
Yeah.
where I can be like, yes, I was officially everything and I'm still figuring out bits and pieces as I go along because I don't know everything, you know. So I only know what I know, but like because of that, I'm just like, no, I promise there are other people more qualified than me and the people still come. So I'm just like, okay, like I'll do my best. But
Yeah.
it's a very odd
Yeah,
experience.
and it probably feels like a lot of responsibility too because
Yeah,
of people coming all the way to see you. Like,
yeah,
whoa, I have this responsibility to make sure like they have the best tattoo of their life because they
yeah,
sought me out. But
yeah. And then there was one girl. I feel bad about the out of state sometimes because there was one time I was so sick, like there was no way that I could tattoo. Like
yeah,
physically, I still to
I
this
wonder
day
about that. Okay, so when you're sick as a tattoo artist,
you can't do anything.
yeah, so how do you get in touch with like because I know it's like it's very different for each shop, but like how do you
Hmm.
tell your clients, like do you call them and be like, because it's not like you're calling your boss,
Right.
like what do you do? So what do
So
you do with this woman, this
this
person?
woman, so okay, so the day before I had felt completely fine and everything. I knew, you know, she was coming in. I knew she was from out of state. Like I was really excited. I always try to like make sure everything is perfect, especially the out of state because we have limited time at that point. Like they can't easily come back. So I was well prepared. And then the next day I woke up, I was so sick. I like physically could not tattoo because for some odd reason, my left eye and my left nostril had little waterfalls just coming out of it, and it wouldn't stop. Would not stop. Like I tried
Wow.
to plug it up, like so my eye wouldn't stop crying, and then my nose wouldn't stop draining, like actual like
Bodily fluids are coming
yeah.
out and you can't be around open skin and blood and all kinds of stuff with that
Yes.
happening.
Yeah, and then it's also during the pandemic, and we're
Yeah.
allowed to
Oh, yeah.
work.
That's definitely not. I thought this was before. Yeah. I
Oh,
wouldn't want anybody dripping
oh
fluids on
no.
me during a
Yeah, this
pandemic.
was recent. This was like a few
Yeah.
months ago that
Oh,
this
hell
happened.
no.
Yeah, so she got really mad because we ended up reaching out. So even when I like shoved tissue, it soaked the tissue and was pouring out. Like I
Yeah.
could not do her work. Bad headache, couldn't breathe. There's no way I could do it. I work when I shouldn't be working. So if I can't make it, like I really can't. I had my manager reach out to her via I think text or email and oh no, it was text because then she called him, and from what I understand, she was really upset, understandably so. But she had apparently, this is what I was told, is that she was demanding like obviously a refund, which I'm gonna give back, no
Yeah.
matter like of course.
Duh.
I
Yeah.
no intention on keeping that. But then I guess she said that she had like a week or two vacation while she was out here, or like she was like staying with a friend, and it
Okay.
was like 3 hours away, and it's like I could have let her know sooner, but I didn't know until literally when I had
When
woken
you,
up.
yeah,
Yeah, so
what?
I do feel super bad, and I can see her frustrations, but from what I was told, she was very upset verbally and was very, very mad, and then she wanted me to pay for her plane ticket, and then like
Oh,
the
hell
week
no.
that she had off of work, and
What? That's not your fault that she took a week off of
I
work.
know, I was like, dude, like all I can do is just like tell you and be
I'm gonna give you a
honest.
refund.
Yeah, so I still don't know actually whatever happened with that because I was just like, please just like deal with it
Just,
and anything I can do, let me know from there. Because
yeah.
yeah, I get like so overwhelmed when people are upset at me because it takes so much to plan something and my intentions are so big and great.
Yeah, and you're not doing it purposefully, and you
Yeah,
don't want that kind of stigma surrounding your
yes. So
business.
she thought,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think she thought that like I knew I was sick and that I was just trying to make it to the last minute and then just decided I couldn't. Like, oh no, like this, I was fine the day before. And then God just said, fuck you the next day. So I was just like, oh God. So I had to take that one. I had to take that one. And I still think about that lady all the time because
Sorry to
I,
that woman, whoever you
yeah,
are.
dude,
She's sorry.
I'm so sorry. Because like that, the next week, like I was totally fine. And I
As
had,
sickness happens, I mean, you're a human being, you're not a machine. So it's
yeah,
like,
well, I made a TikTok like thanking the people that came out of state at the end of the video, and I thought about her, and I was just like, I hope she doesn't think that like I targeted her or hate her because she came from out of state and didn't get tattooed, so she probably hates me. But
she'll get over it.
I was really sick, so
Yeah, she'll get over it.
yeah.
So going back to like tattoo experiences, that sounds pretty bad,
Hmm.
but you didn't have to like be there for it.
Right.
Give me your worst tattoo
Oh,
experience.
I'm on this one. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I am 19 years old at this point. So remember, so this might get a little confusing. I'll do the best that I can. Okay, you know what? We're gonna cut that part out because the relation has nothing to do with it. Never mind. So I was at a tattoo shop and I was working there, and this tattoo shop was located like upstairs in the building, which is really weird. But we had cameras, so we could always watch like the stairway to see if anyone's coming up here, or up to the studio. So we ended up having. I was watching the camera and I see this lady and she's kind of hobbling up the stairs. So I'm like, okay, like let's go. I'm gonna help her out. I'm gonna be so kind. Like, you know, she probably doesn't expect this because tattoo shops, at least when I started, were known for just being like, go in, what do you want? Like,
yeah, assholes.
Yeah, not really a lot of like kindness behind anything. So I ran out and I helped her up the stairs, made sure she came in all nice. And then I welcome her in the shop, and the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, well, I'm a tattoo artist, so I wouldn't be here unless I could tattoo myself. So just know that first off.
Whoa.
Second of all, I used to work in this tattoo shop. I'm the only reason that it's still open. Blah, blah, blah.
What the hell?
Yeah, this lady is probably like, I'd say like late 40s, early 50s, like 45, 55.
Yeah.
And I just like looked at her and I was just like, what
is going on with you? Why are you acting like this?
Yeah, so I was just kind of taken back. And then I'm a little timid naturally. I don't have like this like tough skin that all these other artists have. And
yeah.
I'm a noob to it. So I wasn't used to that, especially like a woman being so mean to me when I like, helped her out and was trying to be nice. So like, all right, whatever. You know, maybe she's just mad like for no reason. So I end up asking her, like skipping that whole entire subject because she has no idea that the shop and the person she used to work for, we'll just call that woman Alexandria. So there was a woman that used to own the shop that I worked in called Alexandria. Alexandria had a son named Josh. Josh was given that tattoo shop by his mother, and he was running the shop. And so when this woman came up the stairs and was like, I'm the only reason this place is open, she has no idea that she's actually still in a shop that's related to the lady that she was working for. And I knew the family very well at that time in my life and was really good friends with them. And so I was just kind of like, okay, like no one knows who you are.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like she's just pretty much like some kind of like scratcher lady that tried to make it, and I don't think she did. So she was super booty and super mean to me from the get-go, not knowing that like this is still the same family shop. Like, so it was really weird and uncomfortable. And she ended up telling me, like demanding she wants like some kind of like instant kind of like discount off the top of it for being the reason the shop's open. So
what?
Yeah, it was. So it started off with that. I didn't even know what she wanted. I ended up asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did she even have an appointment, or she just like bust?
Yeah, she just showed up.
Okay.
Yeah, she just showed up. So I asked. I was just like, all right. Like aside from like you being super weird and like claiming things that don't matter or aren't true, what can I do for you? And she had told me that she has a tattoo on her lower back that she needs colored in, and it should be minimal work. And I was just like, okay. I was like, can I see what you have? So she turns around and she lifts up her shirt, and it is like on the tramp stamp area, lower center back. And it's just a bunch of jumbled up line work, and I had no idea what it was.
I'm picturing it right now. Like I'm picturing an exploded like tribal tattoo on her back.
Dude, it would be better if I knew what it was. It was like so it was like the size of like a baseball, I want to say, and then it was just all line work. It was just a bunch of like scribbly line work with no color in it, so I didn't know what it was. And so I asked, I was like, hey, like, I don't.
Hey, what is this abomination?
Yeah, I was just like, hey, so I just can't tell what it is. Like, can you let me know what it was? And she's like, oh, yeah. In the center, that's my husband sleeping with our 7 girlfriends, but they all have fairy wings. And so,
what the actual fuck? What?
It was like an orgy tattoo. I guess.
Oh, that's great. But why didn't it look like that? Is the real question. I feel like that would be very easy to like identify if it really looked like that.
Yeah, and it was so small with so many people tangled up in it, and they all had fairy wings, so I didn't know what was going on.
Oh my God. Don't do meth, kids. Don't do meth.
Fucking honestly. So I ended up being like, all right, like I can't really tell, and she's like, don't worry, all I want is for you to color their hair color in each one of them. So like if like 2 of the girlfriends had brown hair, 3 of them had red hair, 1 of them had black hair, the other blonde, like then I would just fill those in. And then she wanted the fairy wings filled in with UV ink, which is glow in the dark ink, like the ones that light up. And I hadn't had any experience with that, and that was also like a big no-no in the industry at the time. It was rumored it would kill you, you and give you cancer and like make you like really sick.
Well, then I would have used extra on her if I would have, yeah.
I didn't have any pigment, and she ended up being like, "Don't worry, I brought some."
Stop.
Yeah, I swear to God. And could you imagine, like, if you came in the shop with your own tattoo ink and be like, "I'm sorry, no." Like, I don't know
where that's been.
Yeah.
Did you pass a bloodborne pathogens test, like you psychopath?
Yeah. Well, the shop that I worked in, so again, old school mentality. So, and because it was newly signed into this person's name, I think they were just trying to get any money that they could.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much forced to take on a project.
Oh my God.
That I did not want to the day of, like right then and there.
Yeah, an orgy of random entangled women with somebody's husband.
Yeah, as fairies.
As fairies. That's the cherry on top. Like that was very, like we didn't need that.
But they weren't even good fairies. That was the worst part.
Yeah, I bet that wasn't.
It was bad. So fast forward over, it's supposed to take me like an hour and a half. It ends up taking me like the whole day, like 8 hours.
I was gonna say I would expect like a week and a half.
Yeah,
it's that because she sounds insane.
It took like 8 hours because she was in a lot of pain. I remember her being somewhat like handicapped, like she had some kind of like injury like on her leg, and she always grabbed her lower back. So when she was getting tattooed, I don't know if that injury affected her a lot. But I would barely apply any kind of.
And it would hurt.
Oh, it would hurt really bad. So I was like, dude, are you sure I should, be continuing? And then I was already freaked out by someone else's ink. I was told by my boss at the time that I didn't have a choice. I have to tattoo.
I would have been crying.
Yeah, and
onto the tattoo.
Yeah, and it's fine to use this other person's ink. I was just freaked out about the whole thing. And then she tried like making me like courting me to join her sex group thing. Yeah, and she told me that I would be called Kitty, like Bad Kitty was the official thing, and I was just like, no. And I like was raised hella fucking Mormon, so I'm behind on like all these sex acts that everyone does, and like
and
sex
she's
groups.
Like, hey, do you want to do you want to toss my husband salad? And you're like, what? We're going to Olive Garden?
I didn't even know that people could date more than one person at that time, let alone 7. And then like I'm tattooing this lady and she's telling me the life I could have and all this shit like with their family, and I'm like, bro, I'm like 19, like I don't know anything, and I've had like my first boyfriend, what the fuck? So
I don't want to sleep with you and your nasty husband and the 7 girlfriends that you probably don't have. You made all these people up.
Yeah, it was really weird. So she ends up, after making me feel really uncomfortable the whole time, and so I finally finish. A few days later, I'm sitting at the shop. It's a really slow day, and I'm watching the cameras while texting or whatever, and then all of a sudden I see like a familiar hobble, and I was like, oh fuck, and I like look over
nightmare.
At the TV. Yeah, and I was like,
I would have jumped out the window.
I was the only one there. I wasn't the only one. The other owner, Josh, was there.
Yeah.
Trying to like change the names up, but yeah, so he was there. And I told him, I was like, dude, like this crazy lady is coming back up the stairs, and I just like was like, fuck, here we go. But I see like another gentleman is trailing her behind her, so I was like, oh god, like do they want more work? Like
no, they wanted to come. They wanted you to come to their harem of fairy women.
Yeah, like
oh god.
I wish it was that. They came in like guns ablazing, super angry, yelling at me right at the get-go. They opened the door. We need to talk to you, pointing the finger, like super upsetty spaghetti. And I was just like, all right, like, I don't really know what's going on here, so calm the fuck down, number 1. I'm like, number 2, like, what the fuck is the issue? Yeah, Josh, the owner, ends up, coming up, and she tells me that I fucked up her back tattoo, and that everything
the already fucked up back tattoo. You fucked it up. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks blurry and it's painful, and I was just like, okay, well, no need to be super upset. Like, let me see it. Husband, apparently the guy that's with her is the fucking husband, by the way. Looks nothing
like the tattoo.
What,
did he have muscles on the tattoo?
No. Oh yeah. He was like some kind of like skinny fairy.
Yeah, thing. Sexy guy.
Yeah. But dude, so like, and then he comes in, he's like a big guy, and his fingers, I'll never forget, his
dirty.
Fingers were covered, and I mean caked in like black, like it looked like they were like dirty for days, like like it wasn't just his fingertips, you could tell it went all the way up his hands, and it stained his hands.
I'm sick.
And he smelled weird, so I was like, oh fuck. So he turns his wife around, I'm assuming that, yeah, they're married, aggressively, pulls up the back of her shirt, and that's how I knew his fingers were gross, starts touching her tattoo, which is like really bad looking. It's red, it's inflamed. You can tell it's most likely infected.
Yeah.
I can tell she didn't shower because when we wipe down tattoos, sometimes there's ink residue that's left behind that we can't get out, and we leave it because it can come out in the shower if it's light enough, because you don't want to like dig a hole in someone's back by rubbing it off with the paper towel.
She sounds like the person that wouldn't shower.
Yeah,
her and her husband don't shower.
Yeah, she definitely didn't shower because all of the marks that should have been. I remember there being like two little like stains that I couldn't get off with the green soap that we use. So I told her, I was like, that will come off in the shower within the next couple of days. It was like 4 days at that point. It was there just as bold as it was when she had left. So I knew she didn't wash it. And so I was just like, oh my God. And then the husband's fingers were like in the tattoo. I was like, please stop. I had to tell him, I was like, please stop touching the tattoo. Like,
with your dirty ass hands.
Yeah, like back up type thing. I ended up telling her, I was just like, well, did you follow any of the take care instructions? She claimed that she did, of course. And then immediately jumped straight to, I don't care what you're about to say. I want a refund. And I was like, no, because she only paid from what I'm pretty fucking sure it was $150.
So it's super discounted.
Yeah, for 8 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say your time is money, and she didn't even pay for all of your time she wasted.
Yes, and then on top of that, I was forced not only by the owner but her as a client to use the ink she brought in that I verbally denied.
So you couldn't have been the only one that might have infected her tattoo. Supposedly, it was probably her nasty ass ink from her nasty ass house with her 7 girlfriends.
Yeah, and
her dirty husband.
Yeah, and I'm just like some young kid that's literally just like taking on the projects I'm told to be taken on. And of course she signed paperwork and she agreed to everything and whatnot, so I was fine legally and whatnot. But she ended up actually following me from shop to shop for years, for literally like 3 fucking years after that. So eventually I ended up stopping working with the shop that all of this happened at.
Oh my God.
We had a falling out and I ended up leaving, and that woman would harass me at the shop and send me messages on Facebook or try to call the shop, to the point I memorized her fucking voice over the years, because she was constantly blackmailing me, saying, I won't tell anyone if you give me a free tattoo, but you have to do it in the comfort of my own home, and the other people might want tattoos. Only after that will she stop chasing me and stop threatening me with court and all that shit. So I was just like, all right, well, that's not going to happen. By the time I left that shop, I thought, oh, thank God, like, she'll never know where I'm at. No,
she found you.
Fucking found me. And I just remember she showed up to that shop and she printed off this Craigslist ad that I made when I was first starting off tattooing with an apprenticeship, because I was doing like practice work on
people. Like secret practice.
I would, when I didn't have a lot of friends, so when I didn't have friends, I would put Craigslist ads out saying apprentice practicing free tattoos, blah blah blah. And she apparently found one of those. Realized it was me, and then tracked me down to show me that she knew I was allegedly an apprentice when I tattooed her. But by the time I did tattoo her, I was no longer actually an apprentice. I graduated.
Why is she spending all this time trying to build a case when she could have easily like gotten a tattoo somewhere else? Like, leave you alone.
She was trying to get the free work for me.
She's a psycho.
Yeah, so at that point I had quote unquote graduated from my apprenticeship, even though
she didn't even have any good evidence.
Yeah, it wasn't even a fucking apprenticeship really, but she thought that was enough evidence to be like, you fucked me up. But like, I was like, okay, but with the timelines, like, I did not fuck you up. And also, we had let her know that at that time I was considered a junior artist. That was the other thing, where she already knew and she was excited I was a junior artist because that meant she was going to get a cheaper price. But then years later, she's tracking me down and showing me Craigslist stuff and trying to get free work, still threatening court. And she did it to one other shop she had called before coming down, and I fucking answered, and I recognized her voice instantly. And I was actually at a shop with my buddy Johnny, who I had started with, and he was the one who, when she showed up, he was like, nope, don't even call her back, like, she's gonna come to the shop and we're gonna settle this. And I just remember him being like, pretty much like, this isn't gonna go on anymore, like, get the fuck away, like, we can't help you, like, do not come back. And that's the last I ever heard from her.
Thank God. Seriously, I hope she's in the mental hospital, because that's truly, I'm surprised with all your stories that you continued
It was
tattooing.
interesting. I wanted a different world because I grew up in like my like a Mormon-y.
Sheltered kind of
Yeah, so
life.
I was like hungry for whatever, and I was just ready. Like I thrive under pressure because I like to see how well I can survive for
Yeah.
someone. For some odd reason, I like being fucking stressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was just like there's a lot of fucking stories. There are some days where I'm exhausted, and I'm 28 now and feel like I'm 56, but it is very interesting. I wanted something different, and this was
Yeah.
way different than the regular jobs I thought I was gonna have.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about this is like you are like your own boss right
Hmm.
now. And I feel like you're on a trajectory to be like, okay, one day I won't have to work around the general public because the general
Yeah,
public is insane.
yeah.
So, and it's just cool that you are like a woman business owner too,
I
and a
know,
young
weird, huh?
woman business owner.
I know,
That's
super
wild.
fucking weird.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, talk about your inspirations for tattooing, like your favorite artists.
Okay. All right. So I will say, so inspiration tattoo wise, so there's one that I always think about, and I don't know if this is his real name, but his Instagram, he has his name as Timmy B. So like Timmy with the letter B, and it's like Timmy underscore B underscore 413. This dude's tattooing is immaculate, and I've been following him since like on Instagram. When I first started working, I would hear about different artists, or you go to tattoo conventions and you look around, and then you follow their Instagram and whatnot. So I ended up following his work on Instagram, and then I have been so shy to talk to him at conventions. I've tried to get his autograph, as dumb as that sounds, so many
No, that's
times.
not dumb. You just, that's your like idol in the
Yeah.
art world.
Oh yeah, he's so good. So the reason that I really look up to and aspire to like tattoo like him or be like him, not like copy or imitate his work or anything, but so one, his work is a blend of every style into one legible tattoo. So if you look at his work, it has like traditional old school tattooing mixed with realism, like actual like
Oh,
hyper
cool.
realistic photos.
Yeah,
And you think like they'd be clashing styles usually.
but he makes it work.
Yeah, he makes it fucking gorgeous, stunning. And I remember I wanted to do everything. I don't have just like one specific idea of work that I was looking to get like in my portfolio or anything like that. I wanted to tattoo everything, and I wanted to mix other styles, and I wanted to do something different instead of just picking like, oh, you're only going to be within this window or you
Yeah,
specialize with this only. I wanted to specialize
in
in everything.
everything.
Yeah, so when I saw his work, I was like, holy shit, like I'm gonna follow him, and it looks really beautiful. It looks well done. He's obviously, I think he's obviously has to be an award-winning artist. But what made me really look up to him is I remember when I was a younger tattoo artist, I wanted to be sponsored by these big ink companies. Like Eternal Ink is the one that I primarily use. Huge ink company. And I ended up inquiring about being sponsored at a convention, and they said my work was up to par, but the only requirement that they had is that they wanted me to be a traveling artist to help promote their line. So I had to do one convention a month is what they had said. I was really young at the time. I could not fucking do that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to, and I felt really bad, and I just like wanted to like show the world like how advanced I could get with like little training and like just mostly heart, because there like are so many people that like spend years with an apprenticeship and like they're fairly taught and they have great work, but I kind of like missed out on mine, and I'm still busting out work the same level as these other people. So I just wanted someone to see like how hard I was like
Trying to put your,
pushing.
yeah, and putting yourself out there and,
Yeah.
you know, thinking outside the box and doing work that like is authentic to you.
Yeah, like I put my whole heart into it, and I saw people with worse work than me, and like less detailed or less like I guess like well put together work with sponsorships, and then they're like treated like this whole kind of different thing, and I was just like, if only you guys knew like what I had gone through just to get to this point to talk to you guys
Yeah.
about it. So it really hurt that I was just kind of like looked at as kind of like not serious, or maybe that's the way that I took it. But there was multiple other occasions that I've reached out for different sponsorships when I feel like I would deserve them, because you already know like I don't like think like super highly of myself in like a cocky manner. So it
Right.
takes a lot for me to be like, hey, like I think I do
Hey,
deserve.
check this out. Like I think it's good enough.
Yeah. So been denied, not written back,
Wow.
ignored. Oh, we'll get back to you during the first quarter emails, whatever, all these things. So I just felt like really shitty and was like, all right, cool. Well, one day, like, they might see me. Well, one day, Timmy B, this guy that I was talking about, he made a huge post on Instagram, and it wasn't a tattoo work, it was all like letters, and it was years and years and years ago. I remember seeing it when I was like early 20s, like 2021. So he made a post saying, that I guess he was really frustrated because these tattoo brands were reaching out to him, like harassing him, borderline harassing him to get, like, let them sponsor him pretty much. Wouldn't leave him the fuck alone because now he blew the fuck up. Like, his work is well sought out, everything. And he was like really fucking pissed and frustrated because he had spent all this time apparently also reaching out, like wanting all of these sponsorships, thinking that's the only way you're going to be like an actual like official artist and that's the only way you make it. And his work has always been good, and they still, treat him like fucking shit. But then now fast forward, now that he's good enough,
Then they're like, hey,
yeah, now everyone's just
we
like,
want you.
yeah, so now everyone's reaching out. So I just will never forget, he wrote this huge thing where he's like, fuck this fucking brand, like tagged all these huge brands that could honestly like cancel
Shots
him.
fired.
Yeah, and like pretty much like nothing happened except like my fucking level of respect shot through the fucking roof for him. But he was like, no, like I sat there, put my heart out into all my work. I spent all this time reaching out for all of these sponsorships and whatnot, trying to promote myself and your company. I wasn't good enough then. Even when he was good enough, I'm pretty sure they didn't
care because he wasn't popular, quote unquote.
Yeah, so then they decided when it was good enough, when there was enough attention, and then reached out, and he was just like, no, fuck you. Like, I've been doing it without your sponsorships. I'll still do it.
I'm gonna keep on doing it.
Yeah, so I really look up to him because like he pretty much like faced, at least for me, it's a huge fear. The being in the tattoo industry, it feels like it's like a fine line. You can easily upset people because artistry is packed full of like emotions. And it's a very sensitive, like everyone's sensitive about their work, whether they front as like angry individuals or quiet or not. Usually everybody is very protective and insecure, not insecure, but they try to keep their work like
sacred. Yeah.
So I don't know, I just like totally like related, I guess, like even though I had way less experience than him. I just remember being like, wow,
like you are going against the grain of what every tattoo artist tries to do, which is get sponsored and get money from sponsorships, and you're just sticking to the true art of what tattooing is.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah, because I don't know, I didn't think anybody else looked at it the same way I did, which like we were talking a little bit earlier how like I look at it as like somewhat selling out depending on the person that it is and how they move forward with their sponsorships.
Yeah, it's like, what do you do after that? Like, do you help other struggling artists? Do you create your own company that like caters to, apprenticeships, or do you just turn into a big asshole that feels like they deserve everything that they get?
And that's another reason actually of like why I ended up, that's a huge inspiration I didn't even realize until now behind the TikTok and Tattoo Shop Talk, because I tried so hard with an apprenticeship. I busted ass. I was there without a vehicle. There was days I didn't eat. My buddy Johnny literally was half the reason I fucking had food at most times, when I was apprenticing and everything. Like I literally like busted all of this ass and like tried so fucking hard, and it just like in the end, like I don't know, like
it felt like it didn't even
like
I feel like we just quoted Linkin Park. We got so far and tried so hard, but in the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
But it does matter because look where you're at now. Yeah. But then it probably didn't feel that way.
Yeah, because I took all the right steps and I did all the right things and I put in all the right effort, but I still didn't get like the education that I was promised.
That you paid for and that you put the work in.
I signed paperwork for. I literally should have fucking kept that shit, but it's fine. But yeah, so like in the end, like I still am left with I'm still learning every single day. Like I don't know everything, even though my work is like beautiful and it's well put together and it's more experience versus noob and whatnot. Like I'm still learning, but it's just fucking crazy to me that like you can still do all the right things and still know nothing. So that's another huge inspiration behind the TikTok is like if you notice in the videos, like I give advice where like it's a really big thing in the tattoo industry that you do not share advice. You don't
What
share
is that
tips.
about? What is that? Why are tattoo artists? I have a question because I have never been comfortable to stick with an artist just because of their behavior is like very like elitist, and they try to act
Yeah.
like they're better than you, and it's like they I would never feel comfortable as a woman, especially unless
Yeah.
I was like a fucking asshole to work in the tattoo industry because they're so like, well, how did I'm not telling you that, or like
Yeah.
there's a whole TikTok based on like shitty tattoo shops where like, oh, you want that stupid shit? Well, I require a $350 deposit and I only work on Tuesdays from 1 to 2, and you better come in 30 minutes early. And it has to be the size of your fist, and I'm not
Yeah,
doing
dude.
color, and
I
you can go
know.
fuck yourself. And it's like, what kind of like person, like, why are they all like that?
So I think so some of those artists that are like that are those I've noticed some people can get really cocky about their work if they've had a lot of success in the industry, and when they have like a big following, they've realized that they can pick and choose, which is totally fine if you
Yeah.
want to only work on certain things, or like you want to start categorizing things that you want to start working with. I get that, but there's a certain approach, and I think explaining that to people where you're like, hey, like this year I'm looking to work within these subjects so I can grow my portfolio and
Yeah.
experience, but I can recommend these other shops for you that can totally take care of your idea. I do those emails God knows how many times a fucking day. So I understand the little stuff. But what I don't understand is when you act like that, when like you're really rude and aggressive. I think that comes from being almost like exhausted from your own job, and I don't
Ooh,
know how
yeah.
that happens because I can't understand how that happens, but also like being a tattoo artist, usually you're an independent contractor, you're mostly in charge of yourself, so
Yeah.
you can pick and choose, and it just seems like when people think they're invincible, and they've been in the industry too long, they've experienced people too much, so they assume who somebody is and who their personality is, and
Yes.
they base it off of an awful experience possibly with somebody else, so they're just rude and sharp to almost
And I get
purposely.
it. You don't want to do another infinity sign tattoo or another tattoo of a feather exploding into millions of little birds.
Would.
However, that is like your bread and butter. And you also have a choice to be like, hey, I don't do these kind of tattoos, but I know a shop that does.
Yes, yeah,
Period. Like, you
yeah,
don't have to be an asshole about it.
right. And
So,
I think a lot's like that old school weird mentality.
yeah, like it's like a secret boys club of like
Yeah,
only cool tattoos get tattooed, but usually those guys are the ones that have the same shitty ass like American style tattoos,
yeah,
or the Sailor Jerry like a whole splash sheet, like stuff like that. So it's like you aren't even original. Like, this has been done before, and
yeah.
where do you get off acting like that?
It is,
So
yeah, that the attitude is a little bit weird.
that's why I hope more women start getting into tattooing. I know I prefer to only go to women. I go like seek women out,
Mhm.
but I've noticed that a lot of women in the shops do not get the appointments, and they're usually like the quote receptionist.
Yeah, yeah.
But they like I'm like, oh, do you tattoo? They're like, yeah,
They're like
but
trying to learn.
yeah, they're like, oh, I'm an apprentice, or like I only take like these certain tattoos, and usually the guys take the rest.
Yeah,
So I hope women start like taking over the industry more, because I'm tired of men like acting like such assholes. Not saying that all men in the tattoo industry are like that, but most of the ones I've come across
yeah.
are either like
It's
that or they're
hard.
super sleazy.
Yeah, they're really, really harsh because you really have to like work on like what I was telling you earlier, how it's really hard to find like a family vibe in a
Yeah.
tattoo shop. So once you find one, you usually try to stick there as long as you can. Yeah, with the boys being a little bit harsher, what I've noticed is like men seem to seek out men's approval only.
Yes.
And for some odd reason,
Oh
they
my
think,
god.
based off of like older examples of how the tattoo industry is, that is just how it is completely. So me being like younger and a girl going to the industry, most people that are in the tattoo industry within like this last generation, so within like the last like 10 years and on that I've been tattooing backwards, I guess you could say. Um, I've noticed that like they're kind of like they were a part of like this secret world before it was exposed publicly,
Yeah.
and it was really rough to get into. And usually, you're only a tattoo artist if that's kind of like your last choice, almost. Like there are some people that wanted to be a tattoo artist back then,
But that was not like the norm. That wasn't like everybody was going to go be a tattoo artist or had the
Right.
ability to. So yeah.
Yeah, so most people, it seems like it was like some people, that's what saved their life. That's the only option that they had for a job. And, you know, they were hanging out at a shop over, or like with somebody that was like their uncle or something, and they learned how to tattoo and then went from there. Some people, that's just like the only thing that realistically, like, they want to do within like the world and like the options of jobs and careers that they have. And then like other people, like, they're more, I don't want to say like born into it, but like raised into that
Yeah.
community and whatnot, because the tattoo world is a very weird, secure industry. So I have always felt like I don't belong in each world because technically I don't. So I purposely chose to be a tattoo artist.
Right.
I walked away from 2 scholarships to be a tattoo artist. And I'm just like this like dumb white girl that showed up that's like not like thick skinned at all, that's very timid, very sensitive. And I know that I can, like, I'm very competitive. I can turn this artistry into a sport. I can make money off of it. I can grow from it. I can be something great. And then I can actually have a future with it. And I can restructure it to where it's a business model instead of a rock star lifestyle.
Yes.
So I didn't fit in with them
Right.
because of that.
Because a lot of people too, are a lot of tattoo artists, and this is just conjecture on my part because I've never like spent more than my tattoo time in a tattoo shop, but they do treat it like it's like a party. Like
Yeah.
I've been to a tattoo shop that isn't too far from here. I'm not going to say any like names of the tattoo shop, but they were like fucking raging in there, and I'm like, you have a customers right here, and now I know never to come back because you're probably drunk right now as you're doing my fucking tattoo, you weirdo. So yeah, they treat it like it's like a party, and it's like, okay, that's not a reason to get a job.
Yeah.
Because you need to keep those two lives separate, especially tattooing, because you're literally doing something permanent on somebody's skin.
Yes, I've unfortunately met someone that was very close to my life once that had that point of view, unfortunately. But yeah, the thing that like sucks about like the party lifestyle is it's so easy
to get sucked into.
Yeah, to get sucked into, because where I didn't fit in with the tattoo shop because I'm kind of like in this, not, I don't want to say corporate, but I was like a normal person. And like I came from the normal world, walked into the tattoo industry, and like wanted to bring parts of the normal world into tattooing because I could see how it could be restructured into something fucking killer.
Yeah.
So they didn't like me because of that. But then like real world people didn't like me because I was then morphing into the tattoo artist side of things, to where like I don't have the same hours as you. I will never have the weekends off. I work late. I work 24/7. When I have days off, it's not a day off. I can't hang out even though I want to hang out. Like, it's all these things to where like, I'm walking in the middle. Now, I'm trying to think back on the point that I was going to make about all this. What was the last thing you said?
About just like the party atmosphere.
Oh, the party atmosphere. Yeah. So when it comes to all of that, there's like a weird fine line. And I think because of like it's a male dominated industry and men seek other men's approval, like once like you're in a shop and there's like someone with a leading role of like, oh fuck yeah, woohoo, like everyone follows suit.
Yeah.
So there are some shops where they party a lot and that's their normal and they don't care. I have unfortunately been at, you know, different shops where I definitely fell into the rock star side of things because I was still trying to bring like, you can be kind, you can bring love, you can be sweet, you don't have to be mean or whatever. Like I was still trying to do all that, and because like I was not accepted and it made it so hard, and it's clear I wanted to be a tattoo artist, like you start kind of like shifting a little bit and observing and mirroring like other people, so it's easier. So I actually ended up slowly over time not even realizing I was one of those people at one point, to where the shop ended up being just like a fucking party house. We thought we hid it from clients pretty good. I can't say if they fucking knew or not, but I was definitely a part of that other rock style or rock star life world. And I can see from being on both sides now, because now I've stepped away from the rock star side of things, very serious, very private, like one person at a time, don't even like working with other people anymore. But so I can see how fun it was, especially when you have like society has expectations of you to be like, weekends off, 5 to 9. Like you have to work 5 days a week, and you have to do office jobs, or like it's almost like I've noticed a lot of tattooers have a lot of rebellion in them. And when you are able to get away with and do whatever you want, like, oh my God, like it turns crazy pretty fast. So I can understand it. Once you're in that life, I've realized how hard it is to get out. So I feel really bad for other people when I hear things about like what they're doing behind the scenes, because tattoo artists talk. Everyone fucking knows everything about everyone, or rumors fucking spread. So I just feel really bad for those people, because I can almost sympathize with them and be like, you only know what you know, and like only if you fucking knew type thing.
So, like how it could be, and it doesn't have to be this like crazy party at all times. You could actually just enjoy your craft.
Yeah, but it's like so like pass on the torch-ish. That if you're an apprentice that starts off in a shop and you don't realize that that's like a toxic shop almost, you're gonna be raised thinking that that's how you be a tattoo artist. And then you're just gonna be a dickbag without even fucking knowing it. So there's just a bunch of fucking assholes now, and some people are jaded by the public. I will say that I have been fucking jaded by the public.
Have you ever had somebody comment or email you and be like, "Hey, can you give me a forest rose compass?" Infinity sign.
Yes. Yes. I feel so bad. There's actually a story. So it was the one time I agreed it'll be the last time I ever did. So, all right. So this woman, she came in, she wanted it on her shoulder blade. She wanted an infinity sign with the infinity sign line breaking into 7 birds. Each one of I believe it was 7. It was a large number of birds, and at least fucking 7. And each one of them were different colors. And then around it was like, then there was like a lettering. There was lettering, a bunch of different quotes. I think there was flowers.
Live, laugh, love.
Yeah, there was like the dandelions, like literally fucking everything.
Literally every basic girl tattoo.
I felt so bad. And she was an older woman, and usually with like the generation above mine, I keep forgetting what they are. They're not boomers. It's a Gen X.
Gen X.
So like my mom and whatnot, and people close to her age. So so the Gen X people, usually those are the ideas they bring in.
They love a live, laugh, love journey.
And I agreed, because she was so nice. I was like, this is the last time I will ever do something
and
like
look,
this.
you got it all out in a bang. You got the infinity sign, you got the dandelions, you got the birds.
Yeah, so I felt like I was like a little frustrated, but she was genuine. You could tell like she
didn't know.
Yeah, she wasn't a Karen. So I tried to tell her, like, I was like, maybe I can suggest some other ideas, because even if I don't want to do something, I will always make sure to like come up with solutions. She didn't want it. She had a very specific thing in mind. It was very important. While I got her tattoo ready, she had a very large quote, and I remember reading the quote and being like, wow, this is like a really sad like tattoo, like what the fuck. So I ended up starting to tattoo her, and usually people tell me their tattoo stories, and that's how I get to like know so many incredible things about so many different people. And I remember being like, hey, like, can I ask, what this tattoo actually is about? Because it seemed like it was a family dedication piece, but then it seemed like it was a rest in peace kind of memorial tattoo. So she ends up telling me, from the story I remember, I don't know how she knew the people or how she was related, if it was family or someone very close as family. Like, it was people, either family or just like it. So she was getting a tattoo in memory of an entire fucking family that got accidentally killed on like this like road trip thing. I guess they were like driving, and it was like, well, when you're driving out of state and instead of a bunch of lanes, it turns into 2 lanes, and there's cars going one way, cars going the other way, and there's nothing in between, just the yellow lines. So a trucker apparently was really like, he had some kind of sickness, and he wasn't actually supposed to be driving. Like, he had this whole legal thing to where because of his sickness he shouldn't be truck driving. Well, he ended up truck driving anyway, and his wife was with him. So they have this huge semi and they're driving, and then my clients, like friends, families, whatever they were to her, they ended up they were driving the opposite way. the truck driver ended up like passing out or having a seizure and like barely went over the line and hit the fucking minivan that these people's family members or friend members were in.
Wow.
And then they all fucking died.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Super fucking dark path. Real fast.
Whoa.
Yeah, welcome to my life every day at work.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy too. It's like you're like a grief counselor too.
Yeah, I know. You have to take a lot of emotions in. You got to be a shapeshifter to be a tattoo artist.
Because it's not always fun.
Yeah, and then you have to keep it like uplifting, and then she's like crying, and I'm like, oh my fuck, I'm so sorry. Like, so that was a healing thing for her. So then it's tattoos like that where like it reminds you that even though
it's not something you want to do, it's still something that somebody put some thought into, and it means something to them.
Yeah, so when the other guy artist or girl artist, because I've known of some bitchy fucking girl tattooers. Yeah, like, because there was only a handful of girl tattoo artists when I first started, and I'm pretty sure all of them hate me. Like, I'm pretty fucking sure. Like, there's like 3, and they all like hate my guts. But yeah, when I first started, like, you know, they were the only other ones, and I've heard some attitude stories to where people end up coming to me instead of them because of the attitude they have.
Yeah.
But all in all, like, be it girl or boy, when tattooers get frustrated and really upset behind simplistic ideas, because it is our goal to make something lavishing and beautiful.
Yeah, it's art.
Yeah, like there's also the meaningful tattoos behind shit. So I think that's a huge difference between the attitude with tattooers too, where you were talking about this is all I take, this is all I do. Is some people are promised in the old school mentality of tattooing that you pay your dues by taking tattoos you don't want, and one day you'll be able to pick whatever you want. So then they just get pissy that, oh, you look at my portfolio and think like all I'm capable of is an infinity sign. I'm offended. Yeah, they're just all fucking offended that they think someone.
It's like undermining their art.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, it's just like they walked into your shop and were like, you do tattoos, I want this tattoo, period.
Yeah. So I think actually that would be a really good idea to do like an educational video on, honestly.
Yeah.
The difference between like a collector artist and then a walk-in shop artist.
Yes.
Walk-ins are for simplistic things.
Yes.
For less experienced like artists that aren't doing portraits and oil paintings of a tattoo.
Right. Yeah. Those are for your like quick tattoos that you want to get with your best friend, and it's on a whim. It's not. Yeah.
And then you have the other ones.
Yeah, you should do one on that, because I think that would ease a lot of people's minds. And then if they saw that tattoos don't take walk-ins, they wouldn't be so offended. They won't be so offended if like the tattoo artist is like, hey, I don't really do those.
Yeah,
but
it's like a walk-in shop, because there's a big difference, obviously. And it's crazy the more that you know, tattoos have become like public, and Ink Masters, the TV show and whatnot, the more that has like normalized it, the more people are obviously just like, oh,
I'm gonna get a tattoo now.
Yeah, and they find the artists and that they like, but they don't realize that like there's now shops that are separated in that weird serious business sense that like I had kind of like foreseen my future shop to be when I was younger, like with the whole like business and tattoo artistry.
Yeah.
So, but the big risk is you know, not all walk-in shops are like this, but a lot of shops to where you can like just instantly, you know, just go in and get whatever you want. Usually there might be a reason behind that. So like just always check the portfolios.
Yeah, check the portfolios, and then make sure you like, I know a lot of people don't research their artist either.
I didn't even research mine. When I got mine done, I'm a fucking tattoo artist, you know? Like, I wish I would have. I really do.
Yeah.
No one told me that.
Well, all my shitty tattoos are from people, like, I just, like, walked in and got tattooed by, I didn't research. And all my good tattoos, I actually looked up their work.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel bad because, like, I started off as a walk-in artist. That's the only way I could get business. And I had passion behind every project I did. So not saying other artists won't, because there are some people, like, right now someone's working twice as hard as somebody else for the same position, including mine. Someone's working twice as hard to be where I'm at today. So it's pretty much like you got to keep up and take what work that you can get. So I can get where people are starting off, but that's also a good place, you know, to start, is like, if you want a fucking infinity sign, just like walk-in shop, portfolio. If it lines up, go for it.
Yeah.
If not, don't get upset if it takes a while to find someone. You know?
Right.
The instant gratification, I think, is what
true. A lot of people
off.
People really, when they want a tattoo, they want a tattoo right then and there, and they don't realize like that can't be possible every time. So, what is your favorite tattoo that you have on yourself?
Oh, that's always such a good one. Oh my God, I think about this all the time, and every time it's fucking different. But the most recent one, let me see here. I would say the one that I can always instantly think about is I have lettering on the back of my neck, and it says, anyone can see the road that they walk on is paved in gold. And it's a lyric taken from like some super cheesy 90s song, but I love that fucking song. And it's about, I think it's about running away with somebody and just like saying like, fuck this life, like we're never coming back, and kind of just like seeing like no matter where you are, no matter what you walk away from or what you're facing, like anything can be like treasure for you.
Yeah.
So that one is always, always super important. Ooh, I would have to say most recently, it's like more nerdy. There's a show called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I know that one.
You know
That's
that
one
show?
of the few shows that I do know that's like not reality TV.
Yeah, I love that fucking show. So I grew up with that show, and I have the White Lotus tile tattooed on me. It's like this little tile from the show, and like what it represents is like it's like more than you can say in words. Like you have to like watch the whole season. When you see the picture of the White Lotus tile, you're like, oh fuck, I get it. I get it. It's like a weird, like unspoken understanding of no matter what you've been through, who you are, what you look like, what separates you from other people. Like in the end, like trust is like a fluent language that can be shared between everybody. Yeah, so like the lotus tile is usually given to like a secret member of like groups or people that like are honestly made up of friends and severe fucking enemies. But the second you pull that lotus tile out and you're just like, hey, I need your help, they're there for you. You know, so it's like a way of just like that unspoken understanding of like you have my trust and like my love in action if you need it, regardless of what we've been through. So like a loyalty thing.
I like that.
Yeah, so
That's
that
cool.
one was pretty cool. I like that. Yeah.
That's awesome. So before I let you go, because we've been talking for like 7 days straight. I'm just kidding. I always ask my guests, what is your favorite Britney Spears song?
Oh my fucking god, what song isn't my favorite Britney Spears song? Hashtag free fucking Britney. I was on that shit.
Free her.
Oh, from the get-go. You can see hashtags of me like in the comments fighting for her before it blew up. Yeah. Like, I was demanding to see her alive. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like splink twice, Brit.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. And then we talked about the eyelash thing, right?
Yes.
Like, oh my god. I would say Britney Spears' favorite fucking song. Oh my gosh, just listening to her the other day. Hold on, I have to look at the names real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And there are right answers, by the way.
Oh fuck.
There's
okay,
right
now
answers
I'm
to
fucking
this.
Stressed. Hold on. I need to see. Let me look at the essentials because I know. No, me too.
But now I'm like, ooh, I love it. And I love the VMA performance with the boa constrictor.
Oh, was that the one?
Yes.
Oh, that was the one?
Yes.
Let me see. I know all of these. Oh wow, I know all of them. Oh god, am I that old? Okay, let me see here. I would have to say like the most catchy one that I know is "Give Me More," but I don't know all the others.
That's a good one. That's okay. That's one of the right answers.
Okay, and then I would say like the one that like I'll always be able, like I'll know like every fucking word to is, let me see. Don't like, I know those too well.
Yeah. So you want to go with "Give Me More" as your favorite?
Give me.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's a great song. Mm-hmm. That's a good choice. So Kaitlin, can you shout out your Instagram handle?
Oh yeah, it's super creative. It's Tattoos by Kaitlin. Thought about it for fucking weeks. I'm actually glad I got that one, but sorry Kaitlin had tattoos and you looked and
you don't have that handle. And then shout out your TikTok one more time.
Oh, Tattoo Shop Talk. I still don't ever know how to say it right.
Tattoo. It sounds like a tongue twister. Tattoo Shop Talk. Yeah. But yeah, go find her on Instagram and TikTok, and I will post the video of my breast on my Instagram at AnnitudePod. So love and light. If it's day, night, wherever you are, have a good one.